Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, today we will go through lecture 8, Facilities Support Systems Management. Um, the support systems management for facilities, it is not for warehouse alone, for any types of facilities, meaning it can be used for manufacturing facilities and also for warehouse facilities. Okay. Now, before we go into lecture 8, I will quickly go through what we have learned or what we have shared in lecture 7. Okay. Okay, what we will go through for lecture 8. Okay, we will share about facility support systems management. Earlier, we have uh, shared about the principles about facilities design. Okay. Now, uh, we now focus on to the support systems management of a facility. What kind of systems is required to support a facility? Okay. Now, there are four major components here or major parts in lecture 8. We will cover uh, what is the core support systems in facilities. We will talk about HVAC, lighting, water, and energy. Now, number 2, we will talk about safety and emergency infrastructure, uh, matters like fire systems, signage, and so forth. Now, number 3, we will talk about the communication and control. Now, within that facility, type what systems can we use or do we use? Okay, and lastly, we will talk about efficiency, risks, and improvement strategies. Now, but before we uh, dive into lecture 8, I just want to bring back to what we have learned in lecture 7. Lecture 7, what we have covered is we zoom in into warehouse facilities, design and management. Before lecture 7, we talk about facilities in general. But in lecture 7, we focus into warehouse facilities design and management. Okay, in that lecture 7, we covered areas like the role and types of warehouse facilities. We spoke about warehouse layout and flow. Uh, we shared about storage systems and material handling equipment. We shared about safety and compliance in facility planning. And lastly, we covered how do we measure performance and space utilization metrics. Okay, now we are going into section 1. What is the core support system in facilities? Number 1 is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. when you hear the terms HVAC, it is about H stands for heating, V for ventilation, and the last two alphabets AC is for air conditioning. So this is important. No, just like in our house, we know we have windows, enough air ventilation. There is a fan. Um, there's air conditioning. There's exhaust fan and all those things in our house. Uh, so there is movement of air in the house, and we have lighting systems. We have lights, so and all those things. So now, likewise, in a facility which is in a bigger size, maybe 100, 200 times the size of a house, we require the same thing. In some areas, we require heating. In some areas, in all areas, we require ventilation. In some areas, we require air conditioning. Why is it important? Uh, it controls temperature, air quality, and humidity. Um, as we as there's many people using the facilities, uh, control of temperature, air quality, and humidity for the workforce. That means we, being employees or workers in a facility, is crucial. So therefore, the support system in facilities, HVAC, is important. Now, why is it important? It is because it is essential for health, productivity, and equipment safety. No, if you do not have that, then uh, our workforce will fall sick uh, often. We are not comfortable in the surrounding, and therefore our productivity is affected. When our productivity is affected and we do not feel comfortable in it, in the facility, uh, our performance will be affected, and therefore the performance of the organization is also affected. Now, in HVAC, it includes central air handling units, exhaust fans, ductwork. Now, uh, it is important for all types of facilities. However, some facilities is more crucial, especially facilities in the industry of pharma, electronics, food sectors, where control is crucial. For example, if we have a warehouse having steel coils, then perhaps the air quality, temperature, and humidity is not so crucial. But in certain facilities like what we have mentioned, pharma, electronics, food sectors, it becomes very crucial for the people and for the product itself. Okay? Now, when we speak about HVAC, you will come across cooling towers and chillers. What are they? They are used to regulate temperature in large systems. Unlike our house, which we use like a 1 horsepower, 2 horsepower, or 2.5 horsepower um, air conditions, which is enough for our smaller bedrooms, our hall. Uh, Likewise, Uh, in a bigger facilities, aircon that we use in our houses would not be energy friendly. Now, so therefore, so therefore, we need um, such types, uh, cooling towers and chillers, which is used to regulate temperature in large systems. As you can see from the slide here, you may have seen this type of chillers in the top of the building, uh, and also, uh, you know, uh, in the uh, manufacturing facilities or warehouses in one corner. Okay, now HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. For those who are in currently working, this word you are very common with. But for some of us who have not went into the workforce, uh, you may you may not know the uh, abbreviations. You know the abbreviations, but you do not know the meaning of what the abbreviation stands for. Now, it refers to the system or technology used to control indoor environmental conditions, including temperature, humidity, and air quality in buildings, vehicles, or enclosed space. Why heating is important? Okay, for some countries, heating is required. It provides warmth during cold conditions. Uh, and for example, if you're using furnace, boilers, or heat pumps, you have to uh, uh, you are able to manage the temperatures. Now, ventilation, it ensures a steady exchange of air, removing contaminants and bringing in fresh air. Just like in our house, sometimes we open up the windows, but in a facility, you do not have the luxury of opening up windows, and therefore ventilation is important. Okay, now, lastly, air conditioning. It cools and dehumidifies the air during hot conditions. Okay, we are still in section one, core support systems in facilities. The earlier slide, we talk about HVAC. Now we go into lighting systems. Okay, we need lights, just like houses. We need lights. I bring back to a house so that our understanding is better. We need lights in a facility. Okay, now we require general lighting, task lighting, emergency lighting. Simple. I'll bring back to our house as an example. You have got a general lighting, which is a common lighting in the house, like fluorescent lamp across inside the house. But you also have table lights. This is what they mean by task lighting. And in the house, you may not have emergency lighting, but in normal buildings, you have the emergency lighting. Just therefore, in the facilities, manufacturing facilities or warehouse, you have the emergency lighting in case there's no electricity. Now, uh, same, you have LED versus fluorescent. Uh, Even in our house also, we are selective on the watts, the energy consumption a bulb requires or absorbs. So the in the facilities is also the same principles whereby whether you want to use an LED versus a fluorescent light. Uh, Generally, good lighting boosts efficiency and reduces error or accidents. It is good for safety and productivity, especially in warehouses and loading docks. Now, in a facility, the electricity is more crucial compared to a house. We do not have a genset inside a house, most of our houses. However, in a facility which is the product is very sensitive or sensitive, you require a generators, you require uninterrupted power supply and power distribution panels. You also require